I'm Michael,
And I'm Erin,
and you're watching.
the early show.
Ta-da! Here we are.
Here we are. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Very convincing, yes.
Well, I had sex last night, so the day, the week, the month, the year got better. How are you?
Fun to hear that. I'm doing good. I didn't have sex last night, but we went to a drive-in movie, and that was exciting and very
Well, that's great.
fun.
Did you see a good film?
No, actually, we we went and saw Trolls World Tour, which is great. But then the second movie was Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Dolittle,
Oh,
and it is the worst movie I have ever seen. It's so bad that you have to watch it, Michael, because there's no narrative threads. Like nothing connects one scene to the next. I've never experienced a movie like this
oh, that
in
would make me crazy.
yeah, so we had just a really good laugh, and then Cole has kind of fallen down this wormhole of reading about their editing process and the filming and how the whole movie itself was just a nightmare to make. So it's worth checking out if not to see what not to do when making a movie.
Well, I'm always sad because I always think going to the drive-in is so much better than being at the drive-in.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's
the whole experience it's like camping in bad weather.
yeah. No, that's exactly it.
Mm.
Yeah, but it was nice to at least like be in this kind of like outing environment, which was really nice, especially for the kids to have something that was kind of normal. Um,
Right.
they don't have a lot of that going on these days, so it was good. It was well worth the really terrible movie.
Okay. So
Today
our
and today, what's our theme, Michael?
rest,
Rest. Yes, that's
which
the one.
I'm lousy at.
So am I, but I imagine that so are a lot of people, and it's probably still a good thing to chat about. So today we're going to do a couple of things, but first maybe let's talk a little bit about strategies. Feels like we're doing an infomercial now.
Well, I'm terrible at resting, and I always say there are only two places in the world where I rest. One is at the beach. I can go to the beach and I can sit there and I can do absolutely nothing. And the second one is, I think there's only one.
Really?
I literally, sometimes there's a second. Maybe, I don't know what it is.
Your bed? No?
Now,
You don't rest in that kind of like midday chilling at home?
I cannot sit around my house and do nothing. Now, lately, because I'm in my house all the time, when I get restless, which is means I finish something and I need to find something else to do. I used to just go, I'd go downtown and go for a coffee or whatever, and now I do crossword puzzles.
Oh,
And that's
interesting.
my idea of resting is to think more.
Right. But do you feel rested after is the real question.
Oh, that's what the second thing is. And the second thing I do is I play video games. I have some stupid
Yeah.
little games that I play on my phone. I play Two Dots.
What's that?
I don't, it's this game of dots. You have to join dots together and they do things. And I've done more than 2,000 levels.
Wow. I would not actually have taken you for somebody who does like little small mobile
I
games. That's
also play a version of Scrabble with a friend of mine.
oh yeah, nice. Cole does that with his mom. They have like a really intense competition because Penny is a Scrabble master, and so Cole is
Oh,
like
Jesus.
determined. Yeah, no, their Scrabble games are like in the 300 to 400 points every game.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have to make sure I don't play with them because I like to win.
Play with them. No, I'm the same as you. So when I lost the first time, I was like, and I will not do that again.
Never. And what do you do for rest?
I am also very bad at resting, and have been, I think, kind of my whole life. I'm not very good at sleeping. So, sleeping is not something I turn to even in moments when I really should.
Hmm.
So, winding down is really hard for me. But what I've been trying to do to kind of get away from the family and, like you were saying, in these new contexts, is to hide in my room, which is where I'm hiding right now, and do something like read. I might like mindlessly watch reality TV, things that don't engage my brain too much. And then the other one that I've been trying to do is more yoga. I've always found that like not doing like intense like exercise workout type yoga, but more of the relaxation and meditative yoga is really beneficial for like calming my mind and remembering to breathe slowly and deeply and feeling and connecting to my body. I think that for me, rest is a struggle because of my mind. I don't want to ever stop and slow down. And there's a constant evolving to-do list inside my brain. And so I'm the same as you. If I'm at home, it's like, why would I sit here and hang out and like read a book or play cards with somebody for 20 minutes when I could be doing the dishes or cooking for the next meal or whatever that might be. So I'm kind of the same as you in that way. But in the last couple of years, I've had like quite a few health scares that were like directly related to too much stress and not enough rest. And that's a really kind of scary and shocking place to find yourself, where one day it's like you don't really have a choice anymore whether you're going to prioritize rest, because if you don't, you're going to continue to have these like intense health problems. So
I was going to show you. I have, but I can't find it. It's not there. If I was better, I would preload these things. But I always sit with my foot shaking. I even when I'm trying to relax, I have like the vibrating foot.
right.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
does TV watching TV count as resting?
I don't know. Like it's the same. Like, does reading count as resting? Like sometimes I wonder like what people classify as rest without being in this really like typical normative like sleeping. Is that like the only thing that's like restful? Is
Yeah.
sex resting? Like is rest like in our society like prioritizing and putting energy into things that we're told is unproductive and or like not of value because it's not work or something like
Well, I can say definitively that my sex is not restful.
but
Uh,
that's and how are you defining rest?
well, that's it. I guess that's interesting because I don't really think of TV as rest, but I guess it is. So that's
Mhm.
helpful. And I also remember that camping is restful for me. I can go camping, and when I'm reading at a campsite, that feels restful. But when I'm reading at home, I don't know if that feels restful. It feels too indulgent to feel like rest.
Camping is a good one though. That's and maybe that's like connected to nature.
Mm.
Removing yourself from your like regular surroundings and being connected to something that's slower. And maybe that's what we mean when we talk about rest. Maybe it's like slowing down.
Well, I want to bring this back around because I just felt stupid because I was on my telephone. I wanted to explain, but you were saying, and so I want to bring it back there. You were saying that you've had some health concerns, and so you're not too sure about how rest works.
Yeah, or that like
So have you come up with tricks?
yeah, for me like I try to build in daily rest. And so that means like sitting and lifting my feet up off of the ground. I have to not be moving and doing it.
Mm.
And so whatever it takes to get me to do that, which often might mean TV or a book or even like mindless scrolling on my phone, which I know lots of people would jump on and say that's not rest. But I am such a chronic doer and I'm always in moving and doing and finishing things and starting things. Yeah, it's just this constant. So the being ill, it was when I had shingles. It took 2 months for me to recover from having shingles. And shingles is just caused by stress. It lays dormant in your system. And then,
Shingles are the worst.
yeah. And so I think it was kind of shocking at 29 to have shingles,
Mm.
and I think it was just indicative of me not slowing down or prioritizing my own health.
Mm.
And I think that's a part of it too. Like I spend so many days and hours of each day looking after others. Why can't I spend 20 or 30 minutes a day caring for myself through rest?
Oh,
Right.
yeah. I promised myself this year that I was going to do yoga every day.
Yeah.
And I think about it often, and it's May, and I haven't done it once.
Yeah.
Not even once. I have a
Yeah.
lot of free time on my hands right now.
Yeah. So it's like you put other things as more important. And I think that's like the biggest thing with rest. So what I'm trying to do is say, I love myself. I'm going
Mm.
to care for myself by making the time and then committing to it. And that's always like easier said than done. But I have like brought, my partner Cole along on the journey. And so there are days when he goes, hey,
Hmm.
maybe like, is it yoga time? And I'm like, fuck you, don't tell me what to do. And then I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should do some yoga.
Mm.
So that helps too. Keep
Mm-hmm.
having others in your life to hold you accountable to your rest goals. We have all these other goals. What about our rest goals,
Rest goals.
Yeah.
Jesus, we need to write that down. Write that down, audience.
Yeah.
Rest goals. Okay, I have to remember that.
Other people that you have these rest goals. And then they might know too, your friends and your family might also be able to say, like, oh, Michael needs some time every Sunday, he said to himself. So I'm not going to bug him. I'm going to ask him that question Monday instead
Mm.
of interjecting. Because I also find I need rest from people.
Mm.
And sometimes they don't always know. You're like, hey, I'm trying to hide in my little hole over here.
Okay, so what's next?
My strategies. Well, what's next? I think that now we should play a quick game. We've gotten to the nitty gritty of what it means to rest for two non-resters.
So we're playing Would You Rather.
Yeah, so I've come up with this well, I didn't come up with it. I stole it off the internet.
Mm.
But it's a game called Would You Rather?
Would you rather be a butterfly or a doily?
Yeah, what one would you rather be?
A butterfly.
A butterfly. Yeah.
Doilies, though. People just put doilies are for subs. Because people always just put things on them.
Okay, here we go, Michael.
Okay.
Would you rather? Okay. Would you rather go to bed early or take a nap?
Take a nap.
Take a nap. Ooh, I wasn't expecting.
I am a big napper.
Are you?
3:00 comes round and I take a nap. Oh, that's what I do to rest. I take naps.
I was gonna say that's a really good one. That one is very hard for me. Have you always been this way, or have you?
Yeah, I fall asleep like. When I first met my husband, we went on a little tour. I took him camping. We went to a couple islands and we did a little BC tour because I had friends I was seeing. And the joke was if we stopped somewhere, I'd fall asleep. We'd wait for the ferry to come and I'd sleep in the car for 10 minutes, and we'd get on the ferry and I'd sleep for 10 minutes. And wherever we were, I could nap right now if I wanted to. I could probably nap in about a minute if I put my head down on the computer.
I am so jealous. Like my sleep problems are long running and they get worse as I age. And I just I can't nap to save my life. Cole has to fuck me and then cuddle me until I fall asleep, and that's it.
Cole, I really need a nap.
Yeah, no, that's it. He decides. He's like, you need a nap. Get in that bed. Okay, hot bubble bath or solo reading time?
Solo reading time. Fuck bubble baths.
I'm the same. I hate baths. People love
soup.
Yeah, I agree. It's so gross, right? And people are all about them, and
Who wants to float in their own stink?
Yeah,
Who wants to bathe in the water that's surrounding your asshole?
Yeah, and all your back to our poop combos, all your poop particles, and it's a real
poop. A little poop over here, a little poop over there. Oh, poop, 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 poop.
I'm just so rejuvenated from my poop bath.
If you choose your book well, there's no poop in it.
Yeah. Or, there is, and you've also chosen well. Okay, saying no to projects or taking a full weekend off?
I can only choose one or the other.
The other, would you rather?
Saying no to projects, for sure.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about this, you and I, over the last couple of years, and you've told me all about this becoming something you're prioritizing and doing better at, hey?
Are we doing strategies later? Because I'll save it.
No, we just did strategies.
Oh, yeah. So I'll tell you. Well, do you know how I learned how to say no?
Yeah.
Somebody, I can't remember the lineage of this, but somebody said you don't say no, you say maybe. So I'll say, I'm not sure, let me check my schedule, and I wait 2 days, and I get back to them and say, I checked and I can't.
Smart.
Well, because I always feel like if you say no right away, you're dismissive. Like, I know how busy I am, I know if I have room, and I
Yeah.
rarely do.
Yeah.
And so I always feel like it's dismissive. So I like giving people the heads up and then coming back. That feels like I took some time to think about it.
Right. But do you find that you go back that, or you don't go back, but that you maybe cave a little easier to saying yes?
No,
That's
because my knee jerk reaction is to say yes. If you ask me something, I'll say yes if I don't think about it.
right. That makes sense. I'm only like really just a beginner, a novice, you might say, at saying no. It's not something that I'm great at. But again, like
You
after
need.
being, I had to say no to everything. Suddenly it was like, I literally can't leave my house because I'm really sick. So I'll say no to everything. And then all of these other things that I constantly felt in my life there was no time for became available to me again. So it
You
was like, was there no time, or did I not make time for those things like writing and reading and rest, right?
you need to put the no in novice.
I know.
I got that joke way back there, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
We're very patient.
Just in case people think, oh, it was a long time coming.
We could all see you chomping at the bit. I'm ready. Let me at her.
Oh, I find it so hard to let a joke go by, even if it's a bad one.
Yeah.
It's sort of like seeing a friend and not waving. Some
Yeah.
people hide, but I'm like, wait, I'm over here.
I see you.
I see you at your mom's funeral. Hi.
That's enough, buddy. Okay, last one. Last
Okay.
one. Getting a rub down or giving a rub down.
Getting a rub down. Jesus, touch me. I'm sick of touching other people. Honestly.
Yeah. No, I'm much the same. I'm very
I've
greasy.
I've had a life of chasing.
Right.
My body has earned some hands.
Yeah. Well, I'm very glad that you found a very handsome man to be those things.
My favorite thing, my favorite thing, because well, you don't need the whole story, but my favorite thing is laying in bed and having my husband rub my back or
I love
scratch
that too.
or scratch my back.
I'm there. That's like it's so tender and wonderful and such a great way to like connect and be together, but also I'm selfish. So I'm like, you get over there and rub my back, and then I'm like, here's 2 seconds, okay, good night.
Your back is so big, it just feels
Yeah.
like it wasn't as long.
Oh yeah, no, he would never complain. He would never ask for a back rub. He is
He'd
the
know
most
better.
he's the most giving man ever. He'd give me the world and then some just
Yeah.
because of his nature. So I lucked out. You know, it only took me 2 times, but I did it, you know? Okay, so we've played our game, our Would You Rather. And I think that one of the things with rest that doesn't often get talked about, we kind of like, I follow this account on Instagram and it's called the Nap Ministry.
Well, I just started following them this week.
They're so great, but it's kind of this like, I love a lot of what they are kind of preaching about resting and prioritizing it and capitalism and on and on. But I don't find a lot of people talk about failing at resting. And this was something that you kind of brought up when I said, let's talk about rest. You said, well, I'm not very good at rest, so I don't know how I can talk about resting if I suck at doing it.
I know.
It kind of sounds to me though like you're better at it than you might give yourself credit for. If you're able to nap regularly, it sounds like maybe your challenge is resting in your own home in a way that isn't sleeping.
I think you're right. I think I have an old story about what I'm capable of. But
Okay.
because, like, I used to wake up, I run at such a high energy level that I literally would wake up like a bing and my feet would be on the floor. I,
Yeah.
I would barely even be awake and I'd be standing up.
Yeah.
And I had a friend do some witchy mumbo jumbo psychology, talk to my unconscious thing, because
Mm,
he's a therapist and he learned this at a course. And so
yeah.
he tried it on me, and it taught me how to wake up and lay in bed. And so now I do.
Right.
And
And
I,
be okay just laying there.
yeah, and I just lay there. I look at my phone, or I read something, or I stare at my husband, or but I never used to be able to do that. I would wake up and I would be on the go immediately. And,
Yeah.
and throughout the course of my life, I found the thing. I love going camping because camping's so full of rest for me when I'm there. I sleep. Normally, I sleep about 6 hours a night. In the summer, sometimes five. If I'm lucky, I get seven. And if it's a really good night, I'll get eight. And when I camp, I'll sleep 10 hours and I'll take a 1 hour nap during the day.
I'm the same. And my children are all the same. And you can
So
watch
weird.
when they go camping, go from this really wound, screen, technology driven sort of state of
Mm.
constant entertainment, constant stimulation, to them like unraveling a little bit. And suddenly you'll find them sitting there staring off into space,
Mm.
daydreaming. And everyone is in the tent, passed out by 10 o'clock, like at the
Yeah,
latest,
it's the
and not
all
up. And
gone.
and it's remarkable because you're sleeping on like shitty air mattresses and like, but
Oh,
I
waking up in the morning and having all that steamy air, and you unzip, and the fresh air blows in.
know it's one of, I think, the greatest parts of camping is that's what I just said last night to Cole, is waking up outside after having slept the night outside. There really is nothing quite like it,
Well, we've been thinking about maybe camping in the yard, because
Yeah,
but the campsites are going to open soon. So
so you'll be saved. But for me, with failure, with rest, I like when I actually when you would have, we were kind of starting to get close. I was nearing the end of my degree and I got pregnant, as you know. But I was a very busy little 21-year-old Erin who had a million and one things and a million and one dreams and goals. And I remember people kind of constantly telling me through that pregnancy, like, you should really sit down. You should rest. Do you remember Wyatt McRae?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember him saying to me one day, like, you should rest. Like, why don't you rest? And I just was like, I don't take naps. I can't take naps. And so there's really no point. And he looked at me and he said, I think there's still a point if you lay in your bed for 15 minutes with your feet up. And I was like, how dare you, Wyatt? You cowboy, but it
That was
stuck
good advice.
stuck with me because it was like I had created an idea of resting in my mind that I was not good at. And so if I was bound to fail at it, I wouldn't even try. I would just forfeit before I made the effort. And I think that's always been one of my problems, is that I tell myself that I'm shitty at resting so that I don't make it a priority.
What's that whole capitalist guilt? That's what drives
Yeah,
me partly. Is I if I'm not doing something, I feel like I'm wasting my time.
yeah, totally. Have you been feeling that way through the pandemic, that there's sort of kind of been two kind of modes going on out there? One, which is sort of saying sink into it, rest, we're all struggling, and the other one being like, this is your time. You have this moment of freedom from all of your life's burdens. Write your novel and make a show every night.
Well, surprisingly, I have never been at home as much as I have. I've never been as, let's say, still as I have. Some of that is marijuana. Like, I'll smoke up at 3 instead of at 7, 3 in
Right.
the afternoon instead of 7 at night. And that's because then I don't work. If I smoke up at 3, then I'm done for the day. So I've been actually really good through the pandemic. I can't believe how calm I've been so far.
Well, that's good.
I have no idea where that comes from,
Good.
being 49.
Yeah. It's a lot of years to learn about yourself, right?
Yeah, and I think because I have everything's been canceled, I haven't had the busier I am, the more busy I get, in a way.
Yeah.
The more time I make for myself, the more time I make for myself.
Yeah.
And so even though I am doing a show I've done a show every night for more than 2 months, it hasn't actually taken up that much time. I still have lots of downtime during my, or well, since school's been done, I've had lots of downtime, and I've been enjoying it. I've been doing crossword puzzles, and I've been playing my game, and I've been just giving myself space to not do anything, to not be productive.
Yeah. Totally. My challenge is that I have 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
So the not being productive like comes at the cost of their welfare.
Breeding is never a good idea.
It's like, Jesus, man, gotta get these tubes tied.
3 strikes, lady.
Oh yeah, well 4. I mean, I had a miscarriage, so I've been
Oh.
pregnant 4 times in my life, which seems like too many for a 31-year-old person, but that's my lot. But I think that rest can also be something that's done communally. So I've been trying to help my kids also learn when it's time to take rest that doesn't involve their phones or things that stimulate the brain. And it's more about the one thing that we do really love that I find kind of restful in this, like it's rejuvenating, is playing board games. We all sort of turn off the TV, we turn off any other interaction, and it's about all of us in this moment present. And I think that is also another form of rest where we kind of let go of the past and we're not freaking out about the future. And we're just like here in time and space together for a brief moment, you know?
So great.
Yeah, it has lots of wonderful things.
From your lips to the Sandman's ears.
Totally. Any last tips or tricks for our viewers today on the early show, MBS?
Well, if you're not having a good time resting, pick up the Mary Jane and see if marijuana will help.
Yeah, it's true. There are, I think, lots of. That's why exercise can be so good for rest too. Though I find if I'm like using my body in a good way, then the rest is way harder to achieve, and that's a part of my like go 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 go. Let's do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I need to like.
Well,
Yeah.
now I need to go take a nap.
Well, we will let you go on this. That's why we're called the early show, because
Early show.
we prioritize rest so thoroughly that we built it into the title of our show.
Thanks, honey.
Thanks, cutie. Talk to you soon.
Bye.